Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my review for The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 9. And this episode is obviously the mid season premiere. And this episode is called Honor. And this episode came out on February 25th, 2018. Now, the thing I don't know is I know there's probably going to be some Walking Deads when it comes to ratings wise. I probably didn't get the best ratings because I know around this time earlier this year we had all those storms going on. Um, so maybe the ratings will dip a little bit, but obviously that's TBD because I don't remember if when the actual storms were. I think they were shortly after this episode, if I'm not mistaken, but we'll have to wait and see. So overall, I actually thought this was a great episode. Um, Pretty much there was two main storylines, but the main storyline of this whole episode was pretty much it was writing Chandler Riggs off as Carl Grimes. Pretty much this was going to be his final appearance, obviously, because um, we found out in the last episode in the season finale that he had been bit, and we knew that obviously Carl was going to be killed off in this episode. So they hadn't officially killed him off yet. So I'm gonna kind of review it. I'm gonna review probably this episode. There was two storylines that went on. I'm gonna talk about what happened in the kingdom first, since the stuff that happened with Carl was more important. I'm gonna talk about everything that took place in the kingdom. So the way it starts out is Carol is leading off the rest of the members of the kingdom back to her cabin that she was staying at in the last season because it's a good place for them to stay since none of the saviors really know um, about that place. And she's going to go back and save King Ezekiel. And Henry wants to go with her because he wants to get vengeance after they killed his brother. And Carol doesn't allow him to go with her. And then we see Gavin with Ken Ezekiel. And Ken Ezekiel, Gavin says that Ken Ezekiel is an idiot for sacrificing his people. Um, and he actually says that he used to like Ken Ezekiel. He's the one that actually understood the way that things had to be. And Ken Ezekiel says that what he always did was to save his people, and that's why what happens to him doesn't really matter as long as his people are safe. And Gavin says that it is going to matter because you're going to be a walker hanging out at the sanctuary because Negan's going to kill you. Um, and then we see Morgan creeping around the kingdom, and then he spots Henry, and then he runs into Carol, and he was about to kill her, thinking it was going to be one of the saviors, and um, then Morgan and Carol pretty much are going to go around and kill off saviors, and that's exactly what happens. They kill off a couple of them by the place where Ken Ezekiel went and exploded the kingdom, and then afterwards, Carol kind of sees that Morgan's kind of struggling with this, so she offers to kill the next few, but Morgan says that he'll do it. So then he ends up killing those ones, but he kind of hesitates a little bit, and then eventually Gavin and then Morgan actually and Carol could have just snuck through one of the buildings and not have to kill one of those saviors. But Morgan sees one of them, and Morgan just goes and kills him anyways when Carol told him specifically to leave it. Um, and then Gavin's about to drive off with Ken Ezekiel, and Ken Ezekiel's trying to convince Gavin that it's not too late to stop what's already been decided. And then Gavin says, "Well, you did," referring to the fact that that he pretty much had to deal with the saviors, but yet he chose to fight against them instead of sticking with it. And then he's trying to radio in on Gomez, but Gomez never responds. And then we hear somebody gunshots go off, and Gavin realizes that something is up, so they hide out into Ken Ezekiel's theater, and they wait for the attackers to show up, and then the attackers shoot down the door, and Gavin threatens to shoot Ken Ezekiel, but then Morgan and Carol pop up behind him and they kill off a ton of the Saviors. Morgan shoots Gavin right in the knee. Um, and then he gets into a fight with the other members of the Saviors and he rips out his guts. And um, then after everyone's been killed, Ken Ezekiel tells them that we should just leave right now. And Morgan says, no, we don't need to leave. Everybody's dead. And then he goes to go after Gavin. This was like a scene you would have seen out of a horror movie right here where Morgan is the one chasing Gavin. And Gavin was hiding, and then he ends up falling out of the building. And Morgan threatens to kill him, and Gavin begs him not to kill him. And Gavin even tells him that, you know what, killing me is not really going to accomplish anything because all that's going to happen is you're just going to wake up in this world anyways. And then Morgan helps Gavin get up, thinking but he's not going to kill him. And Ken, Ezekiel, and Kayla are pleading with Morgan not to kill him. And, you know, Kayla talks about how Morgan doesn't want to do this. You once told me that all life had meaning, and it still can. So Morgan then says he has to kill him, and you think he's going to kill him, but instead Henry is the one that pops up and kills Gavin. And everybody's surprised about this, and then Ken Ezekiel and Ken Ezekiel and Henry kind of hug, and we can kind of see that Morgan's all broken, and I think Ken Ezekiel is feeling that Henry's going to start to become a killer. So I liked everything that kind of took place at the Kingdom. I'm going to give it an up. I thought it was pretty good. And then pretty much the main stuff of the storyline was everything that was going on with Carl, writing Carl out of The Walking Dead. So pretty much what happened is we actually got to see the scene. It kind of showed some flashbacks of everything that was going on prior to Carl finding out he was bit. We found out they showed the scene when Carl went to get Sadiq, and it actually showed the scene of him getting bit and him writing the notes to his father, Eden, and Michonne, and him taking Sadiq down to the sewers, him finding out that Michonne had gone away to find out to see what the sanctuary had looked like, and then it kind of all tied into him getting bit. And Rick was instantly asking Carl how he got bit, and Carl just said he got bit. And going to get Sadiq, and Sadiq has medicine that's gonna help him. That's gonna help Carl's fever go down. We find out Sadiq's a doctor, and Rick thinks that's why Carl brought him back, but Carl says he brought him back because Sadiq needed him. And we still hear the Saviors blowing up the town, and everybody gets worried. And Michonne is getting really upset about this, so she wants Dwight to make it stop, but Dwight says that he can't stop it, and Rosita comes up with the idea that they all go to the hilltop and get Carl there. And Dwight says that that wouldn't be a good idea because they could get caught in the woods like they did in the season finale of season 6. They said they said that all they're gonna do is all they want to do is find them. They don't have enough ammo to blow up the town, so the best bet is to wait for them to leave and then go to the hilltop. And that's obviously what they decide to do. And Carl is also asking Michonne why she left, and Michonne says that Michonne was supposed to be resting. Michonne said she wanted to see what the war was going on with the Saviors. And then Carl says that Michonne needs to start taking things easier more. She doesn't really need to get involved in every single war, which I actually liked. And then what happens is Daryl goes to take a look to see if the Saviors gone, and we find out that they are gone, and they're all going to make their way to the hilltop. But Rick realizes that Carl isn't going to make the trip, so he wants to stay with Carl, and he wants Michonne to take Judith, but Michonne doesn't want to leave Carl as well. So Daryl offers to take Judith, and then Carl wants to say one final goodbye to Judith, and he says and he tells Judith to be good for Sean and for Dad, and tells him that before his mother died, she told him that he was going to beat this world, and he didn't. But now he wants Judith to beat this world, and he wants Judith, and he gives Judith advice that even though sometimes parents think they're the way, sometimes their kids have to show their parents the way. And he also gives Judith the sheriff's hat that Rick gave to Carl back in season 2, and he says that he kept that with him because it made him feel like there was a little bit of part of Dad with him, and it made him feel stronger, and he hopes that it makes Judith feel the same way. And what I liked is Judith actually started crying. Now, obviously on set, I don't know if because obviously it was symbolic that she knew there was something wrong, but I don't know if on set she just instantly cried and they just made that look, or if that was supposed to have been planned, because obviously with babies you can't really plan that stuff out. And then Dale takes Judith, and Dale, before he leaves, tells Carl that everybody down here, you save these people, that's all you. And then he leaves, and then Sadiq tells Carl that he thanks can never repay Carl for saving his life. Oh, sorry, hold on. I don't know what happened there. And he can never repay him for it, but he's gonna honor him and make it feel like that you saving my life was worth it. And then Carl then says, "Congratulations, you're stuck with us." And then Sadiq leaves, and I like this scene here. This kind of tied into the episode because Carl was telling Judith how she can honor him, and then Sadiq says that he's going to honor Carl. And then we see then Rick and Michonne stay back in the pipes, and Carl tells Michonne that he doesn't want Michonne to be angry, upset, or doesn't want her to think about this all the time. He wants her to be strong for Rick, for Judith, and for everybody else, and move on from this. And Michonne tells Carl that she will. And then Rick wants to get Carl out of the pipes and put him into the church, and that's exactly what he does. Well, that's what they both do. And then Carl tells about the story about how back in the season finale of season 3, how he ended up killing the guy in Woodbury when he went to surrender his gun. And Carl says he did it because it was the easy way out, because he thought that that was going to make everything right in the world. And what I liked about him, he said that killing's just the easy way out. What I liked about this is this was at the same time when Morgan was about to kill Gavin, so it made it feel really symbolic and stuff. And he says that that's why Rick put his gun away back in season 4, because you didn't want me to become a cold-blooded killer. You wanted me to become the person I am now. And then Rick says that then he says that everything that he's done for Carl back in Atlanta, back pretty much since the show's existed. He doesn't obviously say since the show's existed, but that's what I'm saying. I did everything for you, and I still will do everything for you whether or not you're gone. And then Carl talks about how when Rick went to Woodbury, he brought all the Woodbury people back with him, and they all started working together. And Rick says he can do the same thing now. And Carl talked about how he had that fantasy we've been seeing with Rick. We saw it again in this episode. It showed Rick and Judith walking out, and we see Jerry And they have like a little conversation. We see Eugene, and we see that everybody's just starting to really work together. And we find out that that was Carl's vision. That's what Carl wanted. And Rick says that he's going to make that possible for Carl. And Rick also feels upset because he failed at his job. Our father is supposed to protect his son, and he failed at protecting his son. And then Carl says that he didn't fail. If anything, you made me stronger. And then Carl takes Rick's gun and is about to shoot himself to prevent himself from reanimating, but Michonne doesn't want Carl to do it. He wants someone that he cares about. And Carl says that I've grown up now. I want to do it myself because I care about myself. So Rick and Michonne leave. Carl shoots himself. Then they bury Carl, and then we see that Rick's all upset. And Then he talks about how my mercy prevailed over my wrath, and then it goes back to the Carl's vision, and who do we see in that vision? None other than Negan. And we see that him and Rick are actually working together, which obviously is probably going to tie into later on in this episode. And that was pretty much the end of the episode. I thought that was actually a pretty good ending. To actually see Negan and Rick like forming some sort of community. That's probably not going to be what's going to happen. So we have to wait and see. But that was this episode of Walking Dead. I thought this was a great episode. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. What I didn't like about this episode is I'm still not really a fan of Carl being killed off. It still really doesn't even make any sense because they're trying to make it seem like Rick has some sort of incentive. I guess, like, I don't really think there was a reason to kill Carl off. Now it kind of took away some of the storyline where everybody was talking about how this world's changed Carl, and now that's a storyline you don't have now. So I don't really like the fact that Carl is being killed off. Especially, I already have heard the rumors. I'll say it now, just because when I was going on my computer, I found that there was an article that Andrew Lincoln's possibly leaving The Walking Dead, and now that Rick's going to be possibly killed off in season 9, without Carl could have been the perfect person to take his leadership. Now without Carl, the whole show could fall into shit. But we'll have to wait to see on that. But yeah, overall, I thought this was a great episode. That's really all I have to say. That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people will watch it. Make sure you guys also subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell so that way every time I upload a video, you guys will get the notifications for it. Make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM brothers and No on the Talkinator YouTube. Well, this is the only Talkinator YouTube. Just make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM brothers YouTube channels. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.